Hello, everyone. Welcome to GMAT Club's MBA Spotlight 2021. This is Super Wednesday. We're very excited to introduce the folks over at Emory Goizueta's Business School. We have the lovely Kathleen. We have Naveen and Sam, who are alumni or current students at Emory, who will be answering a lot of the questions we have today. Kathleen's going to have a wonderful presentation for us, so do stick around. And I'd like to remind everyone who's tuning in to please like and subscribe to GMAT Club's YouTube channel. We have an individual from, I believe it's Catherine, if I'm not mistaken, who's managing the GMAT chat over on the YouTube channel. So please send all of your questions in. We'll also have a lot of questions lined up here that we can answer. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Kathleen, who will start her presentation. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, or if you're watching this recording from the future, hello from the past. So I'm so excited to share with you the highlights of the Goizueta MBA experience, the 1-year and 2-year program. But first, before I jump into that presentation, I'm going to ask our fantastic recent graduates to introduce themselves. So Sam, could you start us off, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Lichtveld. I'm originally from Cumming, Georgia. Went to Tulane University and the University of Georgia. Spent 6 years in the poultry industry and just graduated from Goizueta in this past May. And I will be going to Chick-fil-A in their quality or supplier quality team starting in a week or so.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Naveen?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Naveen Srikakulam, and I'm originally from India. And I graduated with Sam this past May, and I will be heading to consulting after my MBA. I'm joining McKinsey as an associate next month. Prior to business school, I hold 6 years of work experience, 4.5 years in manufacturing and 1.5 years in financial services industries. And yeah, I'm very excited to be a part of this event.
Great. Thank you both so much. So as you can see, we have 2 fantastic resources here for you to learn from as we move into the Q&A after this short presentation. But first, let me start off and make sure that I introduce myself correctly. My name is Kathleen Edwards. I'm the Director of MBA Admissions here at Goizueta Business School, part of Emory University in the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been part of the team for several years, have been fortunate to travel all over the world, previously recruiting students. So things have changed a little bit this past year, but fortunately our access has remained through wonderful opportunities like this to reach out to you virtually. So would like to share with you a little bit more about Goizueta Business School. So starting off, I'll highlight these 3 components that combine to make Goizueta Business School unique among the top MBA programs in the United States. So the first of that will be the world-class business education, then the small, intimate community environment of the student body as well as the entire school, and then the benefits of our location in a dynamic global business city, Atlanta, Georgia. So starting off with the world-class business education, what does that look like? For us, that means an intensive, rigorous core curriculum in your first semester, which gives you the foundational elements of a world-class business education. So the skill sets, the hard skills, the frameworks for analysis, but also team skills, communication, persuasive communication, and presentation skills, all built into that academic experience in your first pretty rigorous first semester. Then by your second semester, you're already moving into your elective courses, which will help you on the way to attaining one or more of the concentrations you see listed here. In addition to elective courses, you'll also be taking Impact, which is a project-based course in which you'll have the opportunity to select a project and client based on your particular career and academic interests, work directly with the client on a business case, do the analysis, build up a recommendation, and present that back to the client, as well as many of our alumni judges who come back every year for Impact Showcase each spring. In addition to our traditional academic components, we also offer multiple interdisciplinary opportunities, which are designed as research centers for our faculty to build up a knowledge base in certain areas, and then also incorporate student courses as well as activities and groups and conferences into that knowledge development. In addition to these components, you'll see global acumen developed through our global experiential module opportunities, as well as case competitions, other opportunities that combine with your more traditional academic components of the Goizueta experience. So as I said, those three pieces combine to deliver that special experience. So the world-class business education plus the small, intimate learning environment. So that benefits you in several different ways. Through the low faculty-student ratio, which builds into your experiences we talked about through that core, intensive core curriculum, the elective courses, and other project-based courses. And then also into the engagement level of the student body. So as a small community, it's incumbent upon each student to shape their experience and impact their own and their classmates' experience. It also provides you the opportunity to take on one or more leadership roles to really accomplish your goals, to stretch and develop your leadership skills while in business school. So you'll see here listed several of our clubs and organizations, which are a combination of social activities as well as certainly career-based functional organizations. In addition to these, you'll also see Goizueta Business Association, which is the student government body, both for the 2-year MBA and the 1-year MBA, which we'll talk a little bit more about those structures in a moment. But you should see something in this listing that is appealing to you, interesting to you, but also something that's new to you. So just because you are involved heavily in your particular priority areas doesn't mean you won't benefit from the other clubs and activities through social activities, through speakers, conferences, all those sorts of things that are happening on campus. As I mentioned, those functional clubs, particularly the Consulting Association, healthcare, marketing, finance organizations, are part of our partnership with the Career Management Center team to benefit your career impact that, of course, is a priority as you come to business school. The Career Management Center at Goizueta Business School has a high level of success because there's also a high level of support and accountability. And that starts at the moment you are admitted and you decide to enroll with us. We're connecting you with your career coach, with the Career Management Center, to start on that road to being a well-prepared MBA internship candidate and MBA full-time position candidate. Our students will be able to share much more about their experiences and their classmates' results. But certainly it's an important part of your consideration set, whether you are thinking about transitioning into a new field or accelerating in an area where you already have experience. You'll see that another part of our benefit of the small class size is that it's a very engaged network during school, supportive, collaborative, working together for each other's success. But then also that engaged network goes beyond the immediate classroom and is through the alumni network as well. So whether you're reaching out to alumni to connect with people in your target companies, or those alums are coming back to campus or working with the Career Management Center to help you in your interview preparation, or there are actual recruiters for those companies. The alumni network is a big part of your process, and you'll see that impact in the results as well. So part of a successful MBA experience is of course a lot of hard work, but it's also balance. You're investing not only in the faculty, their expertise, the people sitting next to you in the classroom, the career support and alumni network and hiring results, but also in your quality of life. As hard as you're going to work in the classroom, you also need to have that balance of opportunities in your location to enjoy where you are, enjoy the people around you, and continue to feed your personal interests, whether that's athletics, food, music, whatever it is. You have all those opportunities in Atlanta. But at the same time, time, you still have all those professional opportunities, whether it's access to local companies based in the area, the alumni who work in those organizations, or simply the airport to have access to travel to meet with other organizations for interviews, and vice versa for those recruiters to come to us. So the balance of a relatively easily livable city, in terms of quality of life, cost of living, those sorts of things, but with all the business and social benefits of a major business city. So to circle back to the foundational components of the structure, our traditional 2-year MBA format begins in late summer and it starts with that rigorous fall curriculum, fall core courses, and moves into your electives before your internship component, and then you're returning to complete your elective courses in your fall, your second fall and spring term. The 1-year program is also a fantastic opportunity for those for whom their career goals are not dependent on an internship. We accelerate the experience, particularly that first semester into your summer experience, as 1-year cohort incoming class. They're in class right now, actually. Then in their fall semester, they'll merge with the returning second-year students who just completed their internship and go through the full-time job search along with them while completing their elective courses and then graduating in May. So 2 different formats, but very much part of the same program and one Goizueta community. You'll see here a little bit about the class profiles, this typical class profile of both the 1-year and 2-year program. Now, as an admissions team, our role is to look for reasons to admit a candidate and reasons that they will fit with not only the expectations of the Goizueta community in terms of academic record, professional experience, but then of course also the other components of the experience, the understanding of the value of an experiential MBA, the willingness to partner with us for your success, and also to engage with your classmates. So of course the GMAT and academic components are an important part of the admissions decision. We will review all of that information, and I will just briefly touch on a couple of highlights of the academic or application process here, because we offer multiple opportunities for you to connect directly with the admissions committee through our consultation appointments, which Kathy may be able to post that link in the chat on YouTube. And through consultation appointments, through our information sessions, as well as something we call Ask Admissions Anything, which is once a week a drop-in session where you can come in and literally ask us anything. Usually it's about the application process, but of course can be about the programs as well. So as I said, we do a holistic review of all the information that's requested in the application process to assess your academic readiness and your professional experience, and then your overall Goizueta fit. Just to point out a couple of things here, the TOEFL or IELTS is not required if you have a degree in which the mode of instruction was English. There's more details listed on the website for those for whom the TOEFL or IELTS is not required. Otherwise, you'll submit that as part of your application if you're a non-native English speaker. Another component, of course, is the funding. So for all applicants, if you're admitted, you'll also receive a decision on your scholarship information as well. So at the same time as we're reviewing applicants for admission, we're also reviewing for admissions, merit, scholarships, and we'll notify you as soon as you receive that admission decision of that scholarship information as well, which those awards typically range from about 20% of tuition on up to full tuition, of course. Then there are also loans available through our financial aid office at the university, as well as international student loans available through our credit union. We are in an interesting time of year right now where we are wrapping up the class of 21, or the incoming group for 2021, and we'll announce shortly the 2022 application deadlines. They will look similar to this, with round 1 in September and round 2 in January, and then a later round 3 in the spring. Of course, you're going to want to focus on rounds 1 or round 2 for the scholarship consideration, as well as if you are coming from outside the US, all of that process and paperwork that needs to happen after you make your decision. So we do recommend applying in round 1 or round 2. It's up to you between those 2 rounds. If giving yourself more time to that second round will give you the opportunity to strengthen your application file by possibly retaking a test or something else that may be added to your file, that's perfectly fine. We just recommend round 1 or round 2. So I want to wrap up this presentation just with pointing out our core values of this school. So our namesake, Roberto Goizueta, was known for his values-based leadership, and we've incorporated that into our day-to-day life as well as our larger school-level decision-making processes. And I share these so that as you are considering what is an important next step in your not only career but your personal experience through your MBA degree, that you think about how your core values align with your future school community. And I hope that you'll see that we value not only diversity, team, accountability, integrity, courage, community, and rigor, of course, and shape a wonderful experience as also have given us a chance to really develop a core Goizueta sense of value and give you that deliver that experience that we mentioned earlier on. So that experience of a world-class business education, intentionally small by design program in a wonderful large city. So with that, I will wrap up our presentation and move to more of a question and answer time with our two recent graduates as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for that fantastic presentation. I think you answered a lot of questions. I've been seeing the questions come in pretty solid on the comment section. So I guess what we can start off is the type of questions that you feel come up a lot are kind of the GMAT waiver. Is that something that Emory is considering? Could you comment on that a little bit more?
Yes, that's a great question, Harris. We will be continuing our GMAT waiver, our test waiver request process specific to COVID-19 access situations. So that process and request form is available on our website now. Cassie may be able to post the link, but if not, it's in the general admissions section under application process. So someone, particularly if they are struggling with access to a testing site or whatever the issue is due to COVID-19, they can request a test waiver through submitting a form as well as transcripts and resume.
Fantastic. Is there any difference in applying between round 1 and round 2 for those who are looking to apply to Emory?
So the biggest difference would be in terms of your opportunity to connect with the incoming student community and the overall community as an admitted and incoming student. So part of that is getting your decision back, making your commitment to the school means we can go ahead and connect you with our career management center, the rest of the current students, all those sorts of things. So certainly if you know you're planning, if you know you're very interested in Goizueta, it's a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and get that application in and get your decision back. Otherwise, in terms of likelihood of admission, there is not a difference between round 1 and 2. It's more about your readiness to get everything in. And if you do feel that applying in round 2 would make a significant difference in the strength of your application, that's the reason. If someone were concerned about that, they certainly could wait until round 2.
Fantastic. Beyond the average years of experience that you see for the 2-year versus 1-year program, is there any are there any important factors that someone should consider when they're trying to pick between going to the 2-year versus the 1-year program?
Sure. So the biggest difference is going to be that ultimate career goal and how their prior experience matches or it differs from that goal, and then whether the internship will be crucial in that transition. So certainly there are certain fields where we know they're hiring primarily from their internship pool, like brand management, investment banking, but for a large group of students, if they have prior experience, they're able to get into a new full-time position without the internship component. One of the opportunities that we offer specifically, which I think is unique to Goizueta, is that you can actually apply to both programs with the same application. So you don't need to rule something out on the front end. If you would like to be considered for both the 2-year and 1-year program, you could potentially be admitted to both and then decide. But of course, if we know based on your goals and your past experience, we're happy to advise you if one is clearly a better fit than the other. The consultation with the admissions team is also another opportunity to discuss that, which might be the right fit for you. But of course, you can still apply to both. So.
Great. Naveen, I'd like to ask this next question to you. Could you comment on your overall application experience as an international candidate? And maybe some of the obstacles you faced, or maybe some of the questions that you felt during your application that's individuals kind of in the same bucket as you would have during the application process?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So, the process was pretty much the same as compared to like the other ones. So, major obstacles that I faced were I just wanted to understand what the program is looking for, because every school looks for a different type of candidate, I would say. So for me, the obstacle was to like get in touch with people and understand what they want and what I want, and see whether there is any sort of overlap. So speaking with a few people made me realize many more things, and something that gravitated me towards choosing Emory was that when I started getting in touch with a few people, so they put me in touch with more people who told me like they will be better equipped to answer your questions, and they went out of the way, and they connected me with those other students, which did not happen in other schools, unfortunately. So that made me realize that community was such a big thing at Emory. So yeah, but I would strongly suggest whoever is applying, like talk to a few people. That will give you a good perspective as what the school is looking for.
Fantastic. Sam, could you comment on sort of what factors motivated you to apply to the Goizueta's program? Whether you had any career aspirations before that you felt Goizueta could help you achieve, or whether your entry and experience with the program really helped you shape kind of the next step of your development.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I wanted to pursue a career in consulting. I wanted to go to a school that had a really strong employment report that moved students into consulting. I also wanted to be closer to the East Coast. I'm married. My wife lives in Charleston right now. So I wanted to be at any school that was within a one flight distance from Charleston, basically. Ended up applying to Goizueta, and I just felt at home, to be honest. As Naveen said, community was such a big feel. I really loved the culture. I loved the small class size, so I didn't feel like I was just a number within the student system. I could let my personality shine, be a big part of the community, aspire to a bunch of leadership roles, which I did. And I was extremely successful. Got a ton of offers in consulting opportunities, and just found one that I liked a little bit more.
Fantastic. You touched on an important point, and maybe Kathleen, you could really elaborate on this. We may find that some of the international candidates specifically may be a little bit on the older side. They may be bringing over a spouse and perhaps children. How does Emory School support candidates who are bringing over family with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. It starts with the program office team. They are fantastic about historical knowledge and providing access to what students have done in the past. In that same vein, we also make sure that incoming students have access to the current students and graduating students through events, through particularly Welcome Weekend is a wonderful way to connect with people, learn just about the neighborhoods. It's a beautiful city that we're in. Our school campus is in a wonderful residential area, so there's lots of places to live right near campus, but also it's a big city. Some people may have other reasons to live a little bit further away. But certainly with partners and family, that network is so important, and they're a big part of your experience in school and your success in school. So through the Partners Club, that's a kind of first step to connecting, and really also engaging with the whole student body, I think, through social events, through opportunities where partners can come to onboarding, meet the professors, see the campus, see the classroom, kind of understand what their partners are going through particularly in that first core semester, I think is really helpful. But then yes, in terms of kids, school, daycare, there's a lot of social support through the Partners Club and the school and the current students as well.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Naveen, Sam, both of you could comment. How did you find the career services aspect of the business school really help you kind of achieving your career goals? If either you could touch on your personal experiences, I think that a lot of candidates have questions about, okay, I'm doing my MBA, but I'm also looking to that next stage, and how did the school assist you in achieving those career goals?
I'd like to go first.
Yeah, please.
So, being an international student, and I was a career changer as well. So I worked in sales and marketing, and I wanted to get into either consulting or product management. I was trying both. And in terms of career service, so we are all paired with a career coach from our CMC, Career Management Center. And they're almost pivotal in helping you like navigate through the whole process. They have their own checkpoints. They constantly mail us, and we also have to be in touch with them, let them know of what our interviews are ahead are going to look like, and they help us train, tailoring our, answers to that particular company because they have years of experience. And they help me a lot in terms of pinpointing what I need to tell this particular company so that I'll maximize my chances of getting selected there. So that is something that I really liked. And also, as I mentioned, the feedback is really constructive, but they tell what needs to be heard for sure. So I found it really helpful, and I did 3 internships. Not something that almost every student does. So I did 1 in finance, 1 in consulting, and 1 in product management. And the career coaches are like, there are different career coaches for consulting and for finance, and everyone helped me a lot. And my success in internships was as a byproduct of their efforts, I would say. So they were pretty helpful.
For me, it started in the core semester. You have a professional development course that goes along with that core curriculum. It begins there with them helping you write your resume, kind of clean it up to the best way it can be. And then you have a lot of workshops. And those workshops I found extremely helpful. You run through behavioral questions. You run through everything as simple as a resume walk down to the beginning stages of casing even. Our CMC did a really great job of bringing companies on campus. This is pre-COVID. Post-COVID, it was a lot of Zoom setups, but they did a really great job of getting us at least a foot in the door with these companies. And then from there, helping us, as Naveen said, navigate the process from networking, first round interviews, second round interviews. They were extremely helpful.
Fantastic. And now, obviously, when we have candidates applying, most often they'll hear about, certain school is kind of focused on finance or consulting or tech, whatever it is. But really, Emory offers a wide variety of opportunities to really specialize in healthcare or food. Kathleen, do you want to really touch on how candidates can take advantage of those specializations and not necessarily have to feel like they just have to go down, 1 or 2 or 3 paths?
Sure, absolutely. We're designed as a general management program, particularly in terms of academics. So that starts with that broad foundation of your core business acumen. And then 90 plus elective courses that you're choosing from, 20 plus concentrations, which also means that you could have more than one concentration. I think that's good to note, that you're not locked into a silo. You could take all your electives in finance or in strategy. There are enough electives to do that, but we really encourage you to take a variety of electives so that you're continuing that interdisciplinary education, learning from your classmates. It also means that because of our small student body, that you won't be only hanging out with finance people if you are a finance person. You're going to get to know your entire class and their varied interests as well. So in terms of that academic setup for your career positioning, that gives you a lot of opportunities. And then those specific career coaches that Sam and Naveen both mentioned, we offer, we have coaches in, of course, finance, consulting, marketing, but also in healthcare, in these kind of other areas, whether you're thinking about media and entertainment, sales, operations, whatever that is. There are a lot of ways to connect into those organizations and target those positions through your academic and career preparation.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Just to kind of build on that point, could you maybe share some insights on opportunities for non-traditional candidates? So, you've got entrepreneurs maybe coming in, maybe someone who doesn't have a background in finance or consulting. Why should they feel like there's an opportunity here that they should absolutely take advantage of, despite having the non-traditional profile?
Sure, I could talk a little bit about that, and then Naveen and Sam may have some great examples from their classmates as well. But really, that again, the small class size means that you have access to the leaders of the school as well as the faculty and the staff. So any interest that you have opportunities to not only do a directed study in, so essentially designing your own elective course if there's something we don't already offer, but also tapping into that industry that's represented in the Atlanta area, whether it's healthcare, certainly a major nonprofit scene, entrepreneurship scene, as well as tech entrepreneurs. There's a lot happening in the city, which means that we have either connections through the Atlanta community or specifically through alumni. You have support to do a more network-based job search, as opposed to the traditional recruiting kind of pipelines. So you can access those industries and positions, as well as exploring through the classroom and through outside the classroom activities, whether it's case competitions, again, designing your own elective, and then the larger graduate student association as well. At Emory, we have a fantastic School of Public Health, School of Law, medical school, development program, all these sorts of things where you are part of the larger Emory community, and providing access to that through being a student is invaluable, and certainly a great way to leverage your status as a student. So Sam was looking like he had an example of a non-traditional classmate.
Yeah, I am a non-traditional classmate. I spent 6 years in the poultry industry, 3 working in a plant, the other 3 working in sales for an equipment manufacturer in the poultry industry. On its face, it looks like it has nothing to do with consulting whatsoever. But there's a lot of really great tidbits from my past that I can pull to create a foundational experience for me to say, yes, I do have the qualities of a senior associate at your consulting firm, MBB, Big Four, what name you. And it was extremely helpful for me to actually open a ton of doors having a non-traditional background. It made me a lot more unique than some of my other counterparts that had a very traditional background. I became known as the chicken guy basically during the recruitment process. But for me, it was an invaluable experience. I got to take all the different skill sets that I had and reorganize them and translate them in a way to consulting firms that made sense to them. So don't be afraid if you have a non-traditional background, you can be extremely successful.
Yeah, to add on to what they said, so a few of our classmates are athletes, pro NFL players and all. So they could find, a job in investment banking and consulting into MBB firms. So I think a major part is, the professional clubs. They help you a lot in terms of, navigating through this process. I can talk to the consulting experience that I have. The other schools usually give out like the casing schedule, but I think Goizueta Consulting Club went beyond the call of duty, and they gave us a week-wise consulting schedule with our second years. That was pretty helpful because I knew that I'm going to be doing casing with this person this day of the week. So that was really helpful, and I guess professional clubs do help a lot, and of course your community by extension helps you as well. It's a very rewarding experience, honestly.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, and we appreciate your insights on that. And what I think a lot of students may have questions beyond simply the academic experience is the personal experience. So, how was your personal life outside of academics? The opportunities to join sports clubs or any sort of clubs, and then of course your own personal experiences just living in Atlanta. How did that contribute to the overall experience of the MBA? So Sam, go ahead, please, if you don't mind.
I'll start. So outside of academics, we'll stay within the school first. I was able to be a leader within the Goizueta Consulting Association. I was the vice president of recruitment. I was also the president of the Goizueta Ambassadors. Both Naveen and I are co-presidents of that organization, and we connect either admitted students or prospective students to current students. We put on a lot of recruitment events, and we both helped plan out welcome weekend twice, because once was in person and the other one had to be virtual because all that got canceled. So from the leadership aspect, I got to do everything I wanted to do. I got to do things that brought me a lot of joy outside the classroom, but still at Emory. Outside of Emory, being Atlanta native, there's a lot of really great stuff that can go on. You have Hawks games, Falcons games, Atlanta United, which is our soccer team, is phenomenal. It's crazy if you go to that stadium to one of those games. There's a lot of great bars and restaurants. For me, I live really close to what's called the Beltline. It's this old railroad track that they paved over, and now there's a bunch of bars and restaurants on it. Connects to Piedmont Park, which is Atlanta's version of Central Park in New York. But there's a ton of great concerts, a ton of great events happening in Atlanta, and you have plenty of time, probably not during the first semester during the middle of the week, but on the weekends and every semester after that first one, you got plenty of time to go enjoy everything that Atlanta has to offer.
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience as well. But to add on a few more things, like, I think we have a lot of social events and gatherings that happens at every B school, I suppose. But with being in Atlanta, I think we have more options, more connectivity. We were all able to go after graduation to a trip to Santa Rosa. Many of us went there. So I think, these are all essential for your community experience, because you can learn a lot more about the person in an informal setting than in a formal setting, I would say. But there are so many options, and sports is another thing that I really love. I'm actually attending the Hawks game on 27th. And I've attended a few of Atlanta United games as well. So you have a lot more things to do here, and the weather is absolutely nice, especially for an Indian like me. It's hot. So I love the weather. So yeah, it's a great place if you want to do your MBA. This is the place to be, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it's, what people don't realize is Atlanta's airport is a major hub, if not the biggest hub. So really, you can literally go anywhere, whether it's in the United States or the world. Atlanta is such a fantastic starting city to kind of explore the world. So that's really awesome. Listen, it's been wonderful asking all these questions. I really love the genuine experience and the informal experience that Sam and Naveen have brought. It was wonderful to hear, because I think that, as much as admissions communities are putting information out there, when you hear from those personal experiences, it really makes you feel like I can see myself in Sam's shoes. I can see myself in Naveen's shoes. And I think it's been wonderful to have both of you here sharing your experiences. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll leave you with one question, Kathleen. We asked this to some of our other admissions committees today. If you had to describe the experience or the business school in one word, what would your word be?
Sure. I would say community. I think that's what we all always come back to, is that you can separate out the different components, whether it's a specific faculty member or a specific career coach or an alum, but ultimately everyone is part of the Goizueta community. Everyone is cheering for each other's success and paying it forward, from starting day one and then 20, 50 years after graduation. So that's what I would come back to. And I think I saw Naveen and Sam shaking their heads, so I think they would agree. But
yeah, I mean, that's it. To me personally, having never spoken to any of you before, it just immediately felt like community is the right word to describe you. It just really feels like there's an opportunity to build some long-lasting relationships, both with my colleagues, with the professors, and of course throughout my professional career. So thank you so much again. For everyone who's listening, thank you so much. Thanks so much to Cassie, who's done a phenomenal job over on the YouTube's chat section, just answering those questions one by one. So I really appreciate her taking care of that. For those of you who are continuing today, we're going to have a fantastic event in about 90 minutes to talk about, or in about an hour, in fact, to really discuss the opportunities in Big Four tech. So stay tuned to that. If there's any other questions, Kathleen, how can prospective candidates reach out to Goizueta to learn more?
Sure, absolutely. I'm sure Cassie is posting our email addresses in the chat. We're happy to answer direct emails. We also have the general MBA admissions at emory.edu and several events coming up, including virtual class visits this summer. So you can log in and enjoy the one-year students core accounting class with Professor Usha Ratcliffe, which I'm sure Sam and Naveen can attest that she is a fantastic professor. We'll have full-time information sessions as well as our larger Super Saturday events coming up this fall. So we hope we'll see you at one or many events in the future.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. That's it from us here today at GMAT Club. Thanks so much to all the folks that have attended. Really appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing everyone soon. Take care, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.